This is your last margin call with your hosts, Beck and Tim.
And welcome to episode 7 of the Last Margin Call. I'll be your host, Tim, for this evening. We got a few people with us today. We got Jay, we got Harrison, we got Barilla. Why don't you guys tell me what you guys are drinking tonight?
Thanks, Tim.
Well, let's start with you, Harrison. Way to interrupt.
It's great to be on your game show again. I'm drinking Hibitachi Nest beer, white ale.
Okay.
It's from Japan.
All right.
It feels pretty good, Tim.
What is that exactly?
I don't know, Tim. Can I call you Tim?
You can call me whatever you want, but that just seems really just like absurd. But that's
fine. Okay. So I'm gonna just throw it out there. Unpopular opinion, maybe popular opinion. I think every single dinner table should have a blowtorch at the table. I've been having a blowtorch at my dinner table, and it's great. If your steak or something gets uncrispy, you just fucking blowtorch it.
Real quick. Can you say popular again?
Yeah. I need to hear it one more time.
Popular?
Yeah, but before you said it without the L, both times you're like popular opinion.
Popular?
Popular opinion.
I mean, I'm not one to argue. My English is definitely not my strong point.
You guys should have a flamethrower next to you for.
Okay, English isn't my strong point. We all know that, but popular, I think I'm good at that one. It could be my mic.
Okay.
Okay, all I'm saying is having a blowtorch at the dinner table is perfect. You have some, dumplings and need a little crispy. Boom, boom. You're good to go.
I like how. What is that clicking noise? I feel like you have something.
That's it.
That's my blowtorch.
He's got it in his hand.
I am so turned on right now. You have no idea. Just by a blowtorch.
I'm saying, is your tea cold? Bitch, I got a blowtorch.
Bear, what are you drinking tonight?
Per the use, because I'm a cheapskate, I've got the Sam's Club brand spice rum, Members Mark.
Are you not even
$14.99. It's an hour away. Sam's Club's like
thing?
8 minutes. Yeah, it's the exact same thing. It's just pure crap spice rum that I mix with Coke Zero.
All right, and what are you drinking, Jay?
Well, Tim, as the token black guy in the chat room, I've got my Sunkist grape drink, and I'm going to stay a little sober today, I think.
Are you really?
That's unusual.
For how long? Like the next 12 minutes?
Yeah, go about, give or take.
All right, so the whole thing of tonight's podcast is going to be the fact of account building. I've invited you guys in specifically just because we've all done this. We've all done the $50 account challenge. We've all done the $500 account challenge, $1,000 account challenge for futures, everything. We all have just a lot of experience on just building and knowing how to play these types of accounts and what it takes, the mindset it takes to do these things. So that's why I brought you guys in. I want to know, getting this started, I just started the whole thing with the $100 account challenge on the Twitter feed that I got going on, which we'll be going into later. So I want to know, when you guys started this, I want to know the challenges. What made you want to do this, number one? And on top of that, how did you guys get started? And we'll dive into all the other aspects of that later on, but I want to know just the starting aspect of that. Why did you want to do this? Is it more just for, is this for fame? Is this for clout, as some of them may say? Or is there deeper things to it, like you needed a reset and how your viewpoint of the market was? Let me know what you guys were thinking during this time when you guys started. Bear, I want to start with you when it comes to this. I know me and you have started this back in October of 18, when we did this together. What made you want to do this? Why did you do it? And how did you get going on this?
The first time that I did it was kind of just I was more getting into options, and so I just wanted more experience in being more selective. Like we've talked about before, I usually stick to the defense sector when I trade, but doing the smaller account challenge is pretty difficult not to be gambling when you're doing those because you have to go so far outside the money. Um, so I liked the opportunity to actually go in and research the underlying of other companies and things like that, uh,
Okay.
so that I could, get a better understanding of the market, get a better understanding of options, and just kind of restrict myself to a rule set that sometimes I don't always abide by. And now, having done this whole thing a few times, um, when I start feeling myself gambling more than trading, I'll step back and I'll do a reset and I'll start back at a small account challenge, to make myself go back to the fundamentals of what I started at, why I started at, and why I trade the way I do, and it kind of helps me reset.
Good. All right. And Harrison, so we kind of did this the exact same time that Bear did. You started your, I want to say, $500, I think it was, and you just had just a crazy run. Just like, I mean, everybody out there knows about the crazy run that you had, and is just kind of like a little life altering for about 99% of everybody out there. When you did this, what made you want to do this? How did you go into this, viewing this? Obviously, I'm guessing you didn't expect it to turn out the way you did, but why did you jump into it? Why did you want to do that?
I'm actually not sure what I started with. It was 2,000, maybe?
Was it
Or was it
2,000?
500?
I think,
Or maybe I started with
I'm gonna give
5,000?
you a little bit more praise, and I think it actually was 500 that you started with, because I think I remember
That
me
seems
and you
like a
talking
lot.
about that, and me and
Or a little. I don't think I would have done that. I think it was either 2,000 or 5,000. I forget what it was, but whatever it was, I think I maxed out at like 440 grand, but
Jesus.
within a month. But that was pretty lucky.
Thank you,
one,
Boeing.
one month you did this.
Yeah, but that wasn't really like I couldn't do that again. A lot of it came down to luck.
Okay,
I don't
good.
when I do the account challenges like that. I think they're a little misleading when people do them on Twitter, because it doesn't really matter if I lost that money because it was just like a small side account.
Mm-hmm.
So you see a lot of these people doing these big account challenges and making all this money, but they aren't really playing with the right rules. If I played with the right rules, there's no way I should have made that much money. I was going pretty heavy.
So even when you made your money, like, I mean, when you got up to a certain point, you were looking to go all in. Is that what you're saying?
No, I definitely didn't go all in, but I played more risky than I should have. I was definitely playing extremely aggressive. I would never go all in or something too random. I think the account challenge ended when I lost like 40 grand in the day, and I went down to like 390K, and then I just quit it.
$390,000.
Yeah, but
Okay.
I mean, overall, I just wanted the point I wanted to say is a lot of them you see online are misleading because they come off as just to try to get people to buy a service or something, when
Right.
no one with that actual size of an account should be playing like that. If that was my only money and I was playing so aggressive like that, it's not smart.
Well, maybe you see Wall Street Bets and you see all these type of Twitch
Yeah.
services like, hey, we nailed this fucking runner. We got $400,000 out of this if you nailed top to bottom and everything else like that. Did you, when you started out initially, like I'm talking about that first week, did you take that approach where it's just let me go all in, Who gives a shit if I lose this money? Just let me see what I can make of that first week, and I can just reset this if I miss out on that week.
Yes. So I believe what really got me going was on Boeing. I had a sick run, and I just let the winner run, which, it's kind of my style where, just go with momentum, and it never went down. And I ended up like getting like 20, 30 grand off that. And that was like a week into it, which really boosted my account high. And then I did the Apple play, which made me like 150K overnight. So by no means I was playing.
Amazon. because I think
Amazon. It was Amazon. You're
so
right.
I was there with you on that because that like
Yeah.
for anybody out there that like it kind of questions this whole thing of like is this just fake or shit, I'm there with him every single day. Like he shows proof. He even showed proof on Twitter about this. Like if you have any questions about if this man feels like he didn't actually accomplish it, this seems too bullshit, just go fucking check his Twitter. Like he has the time logs. You can go back and check all the times and transactions of these things, and you can just figure it out. Like
You should think it's bullshit, though. You shouldn't believe anyone online. So you probably should be like, that's bullshit.
It was a glorious run. Like
I'll never do that again. And I've even said, I said multiple times, it's extremely lucky. So that challenge account that I did, the point that I just want to get across is, there's a difference between doing a challenge account and then doing a challenge account for clout, where you play super aggressive and then you use that to benefit yourself. Most challenge accounts aren't playing like that's the only money they have.
Exactly.
They're playing like, oh, this is fun money, let me go aggressive. But anyone who's actually like looks at that and it's like, oh, I want to make money like they do. If that's all the money you have, you shouldn't be playing that risky. So it's very misleading. Exactly. That's just kind of the point that I wanted to get.
That's
across.
I think that's absolutely perfect that you say that, because I think that is the main stigma that is behind everything, is that all these trading services are like, let me start this trading account or this account challenge, and I'll start with $500 or $5,000 and I'll go all in every play and let's see how fast you could do this too if you just sign up for my trading service. And they may fail and they only made you 10% of the time they win, but if they'll hit you with the okay, well 10% is only 100,000. If that 1% nets you 500,000, that's $400,000 profit.
A little later too, I want to go over a couple of the tricks that you can see what people use to manipulate. There's a bunch of little ways you can do that.
I hope you write that down, because I'd love to do that. And if I don't get to that, please remind me, because
there's a lot of little sneaky things you can do, such as like a quick one would be, obviously, if you're doing futures, you just hedge your position on another account, so you're always going to stay flat, and then you only post the winner.
Right.
Things like that.
Exactly.
And then, so there's a bunch, but there's a lot more in depth you can do that's really tricky.
I genuinely want you to write that down and just like have it just remind me if like, oh hey Tim, let's talk about that later. But let's get on to Jay about that. And because I know that Jay has been here for a little bit. Jay is someone I found in another chat, and it's just the time when I first met him, we banged heads. But I think since the time that we banged heads, like, this dude has been around. He's eager to learn. He's been fighting, and he's been just doing well on his own. Like, the day that I met him, the first time I met him compared to now, I would say it's just complete 180 of a trader. But what I want to know is, like, he's been a seasoned vet of the $50 challenge, meaning that whenever I do it, he's like, yeah, you know what, let's do it together. Who cares? He knows the ins and outs. He knows the ups and downs where you succeed in this challenge. He knows some of the downs that you have when you just can't hit that play right. What I want to hear from you, Jay, is just why you wanted to start this, what got you into it, and just a little brief history of what happened when you did it.
Okay, Tim. Well, what really got me into this is, I guess, I wanted to be able to make money over a long period of time and just be consistent, but also knowing that in reality, some black swan event could happen and wipe me out. Mm-hmm. I need to know that I can be able to build an account from a small amount. And normally that amount was like 1K. Mm-hmm. And then you threw this $50 challenge out. I was like, oh man, hard mode. Let's go. I want to do it.
Right.
So that's basically, you inspired me to try this $50 challenge.
So when you first started out with this, though, and you wanted to try it, like, I know that it necessarily, like, it hits every single trader out there. And in fact, like, you know what, I can do this. Like, I'm a seasoned trader. I don't care. Like, I know exactly how to pick my plays. I know exactly what to take, on the option chain. Like, because I mean, obviously, we all have to play options when it comes to the $50. Like, no one's building a $50 account playing commons and everything else, like in futures, whatever. I don't even think you can play futures unless you were absolutely perfect with some brokers. When you took this challenge, like, what are you looking for when you actually attack this a challenge? Like, are you saying, let me gamble on some you know 10 strikes out BA this week. I'm hoping it hits. I'm gonna take 100% gain, but in reality, that's only $8. You know, like tell me what you did to succeed in this challenge, and tell me some of the things that like made you fail those times that you did.
So the failures, that's really easy to explain. That's basically just going way out of the money and hoping for a big move in your favor. And that's pretty much where I failed every single time. But the success where it comes into really watching that options chain and looking for tickers that actually have, good value, where you can make quite a bit of money on a small play with a minuscule type move.
Mm-hmm.
So we're looking at delta and theta, of course.
So when you're attacking these small moves and saying you can make a lot off them, what exactly are you looking for? Are you looking for? I mean, I feel like I know what I'm looking for when I do that, but what necessarily are you looking for when you're like, I want to capitalize on that move because XYZ is happening? What are you looking for?
For me, I like to keep it simple. If delta and theta aren't in my favor, with me being, with me buying in the money or like right at the money, then I'm most likely not going to take that play because I stop myself out really fast normally, and boom, there's a day trade gone, and I have to figure out what my next play is going to be. So
right. So are you finding yourselves trying to hold overnight for like necessarily a perfect setup esque, or are you trying to utilize those day trades and then waiting for something to happen, like waiting for them to reset and then going back in? Like, I guess tactically, how are you handling? Are you like, let's use those 3 day trades, wait it out, let's wait for those to reset, use the 3 day trades, or are you going in like, I'm gonna hold this overnight and then see what happens?
Yeah, I am a absolute garbage swing trader, so I'm
All right.
strictly day trading. I just strictly day trade. If I feel like something's moving in my favor, I will try to leg into a spread or something, but that's usually not possible on Robinhood with like a $50 account.
Is that what you're manually using? Was Robinhood for these, or Tastyworks, or TD, or whoever? Was Robinhood?
Yeah, I used Robinhood for the most part, and Tastyworks for one, which was a much better experience because you're able to actually leg in. They're like, oh, you have this long position? Well, yeah, we'll allow you to put on a short position now because we're a smart broker.
Right.
Why wouldn't they name it Tasty Trades?
That's a...
Yeah.
That's
the name, like, they have a website like that. I don't know why they don't have it named Tasty Trades.
I mean, it's called Tasty Trades, but then they do Tastyworks.
I think they're trying to be like, hey, like, our style works, guys. Like, check this out.
These are the people that brought you TD, though, right? That the guy that's in the taxi cab hat type thing that he does a podcast with. That type. Yeah, okay. I actually don't even know this, so yeah.
As far as I know, the developers for TD Ameritrade left to do their own thing, and that's where Tasty Trade / Tastyworks came from.
Yeah.
That's kind of why at that time, 2-3 years ago, you can see the downfall of improvements in Thinkorswim.
Yeah, I definitely remember that time. That was a significant drop off in the times of improvement, just overall functionability of everything, I would almost even say. I don't know if that's just my perspective, but just when I did that was like, I noticed that the increase of just the Twitter influx of what the fuck is going on with TD today, everything's not working, everything's not doing this, whatever. But I hated that time period. I never actually got into Tasty, though. I was always the Robinhood, I was always the TD margin account, I was always the cash account. I never got into any other brokers, though, after that. But Harrison, when you did this trade, or when you started this whole account challenge, when you did, and you've done a couple since, what, like, I don't want to necessarily say, like, what drove you, what stopped you from continuing further and just, you know, making and shifting? Because I think everyone expects every single person that does it, these type of account challenges, to make the shift that this all automatically becomes their main account challenge. Are you drawing a line to when this stops for you, and you're saying, all right, screw this, I'm going back to my main account, you know? Or are you saying, I want that, I want to see how far I can actually take this? Or are you saying, like, at this point, people should recognize that this is possible, and I'm going to stop trading off this account? Because I think that's when it becomes down to, like, all these things.
So usually when I trade, I usually don't, because I use leveraged instruments. I don't really like to keep over like 100 grand in an account. I just feel it's just more of a safety thing. I don't want to accidentally click something and have a massive trade out there that's just like so leveraged. So I keep it in that range, not low, but you know, 100K. Even
a simple 100K that everybody can handle. But yeah, go ahead.
But well, just basically, you don't want to have just the margin rates on futures. I even keep it lower, but it's
I remember my first trade.
Too confusing to explain that right now with how every different broker works, because you have to go through all that.
And that's on Robinhood, right?
Yeah, you know. I remember when I took a futures trade on Robinhood. It was the most amazing thing in the world.
My first 100K futures trade on Robinhood.
If Robinhood did if they did free future trades, I would switch. Oh, I would switch instantly, man. That would save me a couple $100 a day.
You are a damn fool, and I will call you out on this.
I was going to say, your fill times would be garbage. You'd be there for about 3 seconds, and then you'd be pursing it up.
Have you actually ever used Robinhood? No one likes Robinhood.
I don't think so.
Right.
I don't think I have.
So no one has actually used Robinhood.
Yo, sign up then so I get that free stock. You know what I'm saying?
You know, that could be $100. I'll split it between you, 75.
Actually, no, dude. I think I have an account with $1,000 in it. Remember we were gonna do that challenge?
We were, and then you decided not to, and you switched it over to TD.
No. There was a recent one. I think I sent over 500. I think I have an account with like 500 in there. I should get that.
No, I remember this. It was October 2018.
No, this was after that. This was a new one you were doing. Yeah.
No. So this,
the 50,
this is the first
50
one.
challenge room.
No.
Yeah, this was the room that I transferred the money, but instead of 50, I was doing 500 because it was too small. And
Wait, I remember.
I forgot
that.
about it.
No, I remember.
So I have 500 somewhere in an account that I should probably get.
You've promised this twice now, so screw you, man.
I think at the same time you told me that if you forgot about that money, you would give it to me. So
yeah, I actually kind of remember that.
Yeah, I think that's what.
We're about to break highs. Nice.
So I mean, obviously, when you dove into that and the whole the different brokerage aspects of things, I think a lot of experienced traders realize the super small benefits that Robinhood has in terms of being able to put on these spreads that typical things just don't allow. You know, if you're on a cash account with TD, you can't really utilize spreads, which can obviously, I hope everybody out there realizes this, can better your trading, and you should utilize them at all costs rather than being just completely exposed out there.
Oh yeah.
So when you guys joined this, Bear, I know when we did this back in 2018, I was a advocate for you to utilize these types of things for you, and utilize verts, utilize butterflies, condors, all these other types of things. Did you find yourself to be utilizing those, or did you kind of just keep it steady and just be exposed to just call and puts?
Really depended on what the specific trade was. Unlike Jay, I like swing trading. I don't like, well, I mean, in my main account I do, you know, day trades, but I would say the majority of my trades are at least a few days. And so even when doing the $50 account challenge, I like entering my trades with the idea that I'm going to be in it for more than one day. With those 3-day trades they give you as the backup to exit. And
Can
so
I stop you right there just for like 2 minutes? So when you're doing this $50 account challenge, when you do that, are you doing that early on? Because I know a lot of people are like, well, I'm just going to find the cheapest strike on Microsoft, Apple, whatever, and I'm just going to put $50 into that. Like, are you actually diving into this and you're going to swing a this week expiration, out the money, obviously, because if you're swinging large caps, that's what you're doing. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Well, that was the thing I was saying is I'm not swinging these big name tickers that I usually do, which is why I kind of like doing the account challenge, because in my main account I try and stick to, those main big defense companies. But when we end up doing these account challenges, I end up looking into these, I don't want to say smaller companies, but well, I guess they're smaller, but the stock price, the underlying price is a lot lower than what my normal is, and so taking a trade on those, it's not as far outside of the money as if I had to play $50 on Boeing, it'd be so far outside the money, it'd be stupid. But if I hop on something smaller, it's not as much.
Okay. So Harrison, I want to ask you this: when you're going about when you set up these smaller accounts and like these things that just everyone has, what I want everyone to know before they start these account challenges is like make sure you have enough money to where if you lose this money, this doesn't affect your life. Like if I lose $100, it's not gonna affect my life. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. That's a dinner out with my wife. That is nothing. That is going to the grocery store and buying a couple things. Make sure that this is not enough. What are you setting up as a strategy for a small account challenge? And what rules are you following to handle this small of account thing? Harrison, if you can tackle that for me. I know me and you have been doing this for multiple years. I know Jay and Barilla are about 2 years into this whole thing, but I know I can trust and hear your opinion.
So I think there's the first started off. I think the first thing you have to look into is how much money you're going to put into it. It doesn't have to be a small account challenge. It should be, relatively speaking, if you are new to trading, it should be relatively to your income. It should be something you should be fine with losing. I always suggest people to paper trade until they're consistently profitable. And I say consistently because you shouldn't just make a few lucky wins and think you're ready to go.
Yes.
You should also look at your stats. You should look at, I think, a very important stat to look into is your average drawdown, which means were you down 75% before you made money, because that's not a consistently profitable strategy. You just got lucky, went back up.
So I had to cut you off there real fast. So if I know when I ran the 50 count challenge room, and we had more than triple digit traders in there when it comes to their when they hit these 4 or 5, maybe they even hit 10 in a row of just green trades, but they're hitting 10% each time, 10% each time, 10% each time. But that 11th trade is a 40% drawdown. Is that exactly what you're talking about?
Yeah, it's a misleading stat, or a misleading. The stat helps it be less misleading. It's a misleading thing that happens where you might win 10 trades, but the only reason you're winning the trade is because you're just never selling, and you're hoping it goes back up, and all of a sudden it goes back up, and you make money. Where this could work. But something you should always look into is what I say is you can be the most profitable percent-wise. You could be the most best percent trader in the world where you win 95% of your trades. But if you go all in every time, you only have to lose one trade to lose everything.
Exactly.
Oh yeah,
I think that's what I've
that's something important.
Most, and I think that is so great that you said that, because that's what everybody. I've had to kick people out of that room because that's exactly what they do. It's like, you know what? I took a BA trade that was, it's trading at 350. I took a 370. Oh my god, look how much money I made. And like everyone's like, oh my god, tell me what your next trade is. And then they're like, well, I'm gonna take a Microsoft 170 next week because I hope that. It's just like boom. You know what? we're either making $1 million, boys and girls, or we're broke. And it's just like, that's not how you trade. Like, you're trading for a living. You're not looking to make millions. You're looking to make a living. Like, there's a huge difference. Like,
it's not enough to be profitable. It's
Exactly.
why were you profitable? You have to see what were the risks involved. Are you playing a strategy where you risk everything every time, but you have a really high win rate? Where, you know, that works great if it keeps working, but if it goes the other way one time, you're going to lose it, and then you're fucked. So you really have to have a strategy that will cut the loser before you get into deep water like that. So that's where the risk management comes in. And growing your account can be a little tricky because a lot of people want to move up in size too fast.
Yeah.
An easy way to look at that is, say you're using a certain percent of your account. You can just do say you have a max 5% of your account loss every time. That's an easy metric because the bigger account gets, the bigger that number is, that you can kind of use as kind of just a guideline. You shouldn't be, you know, if you make 100% on your account, you can double your size technically, but if you double your size when you make 100% of your account, if you lose that money, you're back.
It's back down
even
to the same.
You're back down to the same faster.
Yep.
So if you increase your size slowly, it gives you more of a buffer zone where it seems like, oh, I doubled my account, I can do double the size, which you can, but you're going to lose that money faster, you have to realize. So you're basically just like exponentially going up until you go back down. So
I love that.
there's different ways you can do your risk management.
I love that point of view because I think Jay can speak for it. I think you can speak for it 100%. I think Bear can speak for this 100% too. We've seen enough people that come into that room and just be like, I made, you know, like I take a $50 account challenge to $200. I'm gonna risk it all. I'm gonna do this. We've seen that, and like, oh my God, they make $600. Everyone praises them. Like, oh my God, how'd you do it? How'd you make a 1,000% gain over the course of a month? And then you see them over the course of the next month just dwindle, and then all of a sudden, boom, it's out. Like it's gone.
All gone.
Yeah, and like Jay, I know you. I mean, you've been in that room longer than technically I have. Like we've seen that happens to 90% of people. Like it's not even a joke at this point, and I think that's why I'm so strict with everyone. It's like, take what you can get, make it a career. Like you don't need to make millions of dollars. Like who cares if you make $25,000? Who cares if you make $50,000? Who cares if you make $75,000? You know, like no one cares about it. As long as you can consistently say, I got this money, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make this money. If I lose more than that, as long as I make within that range, that's good. Like that's
there.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
There should come a point where trading gets not boring, but because I always find it very fun. That's why I like the day trading style. But there should become a point where it becomes natural, where you
can make that much, right? Like
you can consistently make the money. You don't have any fear. If a trade's not going your way, then it doesn't matter because you have pure confidence in your strategy. It's worked for so long. You're consistently making money. The logic of it is fine. The risk reward is fine. Everything sets up is fine. You're not going to be making, 100% of your account every month like some people are posting, but you have that ease of mind where you're not risking too much and you're consistently making money. That's where you want to get, because the more your account grows, you just keep that same style and you're making more and more money consistently, while these other people they might have started off with a bang, but then they blew up their account because they just didn't know how to consistently keep it going.
I love that perspective because that is literally FinTwit to a T. It's everyone starts these account challenges, and I mean typically, like, I'm gonna be full disclosure with me, I typically end at once I get to $500. Like if I ever ended a $50 account challenge, it's when I hit 500 or I just feel like I'm hitting a wall. I'm gonna pull everything. Like it's okay. Like for me, like because that's when I know like this isn't my main trading account. This is one I use to try to make money. This is more to show people and everyone that like, yeah, it can be done. You don't need to be afraid of it. You don't need to hit these 2,000% runners in order to make money. It's just like, you build up to an account that you have, and once you reach that account that you feel comfortable that you can make that consistent money, the consistency, which Harrison just said, is what drives you, because it becomes, I think, I don't know if this is your exact words, but it's like when it becomes boring is when you know you can consistently do it, is kind of in a sense, I want to say.
Yeah, I mean, if you have that natural style where it can become just kind of boring because it's just the same thing every day, of course, it's great to have the freedom of, trading jobs. So it never becomes truly boring compared to like a real desk job. But you don't get that huge thrill of like gambling all this money. Like everyone knows when you gamble a lot of money, you hit the huge trade. And that's fucking intense and thrilling. You shouldn't be getting those either way. You put in a trade, you're going to make some money, or you lose, and you're fine with losing. I think one of the most important parts of trading is people don't know how to lose. They don't know when to cut losses. They hope it keeps going back. And something you who's ever listening can look up is it's called risk aversion. It goes back into kind of our DNA, how if you don't want to take a loss, even if you lose more, basically, where if you lose, you're okay with losing more if you have a chance to make everything back. So, and then when you have when you have money like in front of you that you made, you're too fast to take the profit, because kind of the old, bird in the hand is better than bird in the bush. But in trading, that always doesn't work, because in trading you have this momentum that you want to let your winners run. You see how far something goes upwards. Everyone's always cutting their losers or their winners fast and letting their losers go, and it's kind of what the opposite you want to do. You want to cut your losers but let the winners keep going, because overall the momentum is what will make you the money. When something keeps going and going and you have a good entry, that's where you make your money.
I think, like, I can't even say that, like, I have personally battled that. I know anybody else in the $50 account challenge has battled that.
Everyone should. It's just built in your nature.
It is. It really is. And like the fact that, like, all right, so like last week, so like I took a trade on shorting Apple just because I felt like comfortable taking that, but like I let that go up $1, and that's about, it was about 46%, I want to say. I think I have it remembered, of my position was just gone instantly, just based on that. And it was a stupid trade. But, like, I wanted to take it. I felt comfortable taking it. I felt like this wouldn't affect me. But I think exactly what you just said is the comfort factor of understanding. I'm going to say risk aversion is what you're referring to as, for everyone to remember.
Yeah, the risk aversion is basically the people are cutting their cutting their winners too fast and letting their losers run. It comes down. It's you can Google it. There's actually someone one.
Oh, I think, did we lose you for a second?
Oh shit! Sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So I think someone in risk aversion. There's a lot of articles, because it's not only trading, but it works in trading. Like someone won, like, don't want to say Nobel Award, but someone won like a big award doing it. There's so much information. It just comes to how our DNA works, and in trading it comes down to, you don't want to you keep letting the losers, you see it, you just keep letting them lose and lose, and you hope it goes back. No one wants to cut a loser, and that's why new traders always lose. Experienced traders cut their losers fast, or they have some kind of risk set up where if it hits it, they're out. They're not going to second guess it. They're done. They set their risk and they're done. But the winners, they let run a lot farther. And that's hard to do too. If you see a winner running, it's extremely hard not to take the money. And then you always look back.
Lose it. Like, I think that's the thing too.
It's
like,
the same thing. Yeah.
Like you see a slight pullback and you're like, no, that's the big pullback right there. And it's like,
yeah. And then you wait longer, look later in the day, and it's way higher than where you sold. And then you try to buy back in, and it would have been better if you just held.
Yeah, I think everyone fears that opposite thing though. It's like, because I think maybe it may just be the names that they're playing. It just may be the sectors they're playing, or it may just be the indexes they're playing. It's like seeing that small pullback. They think this is the start of the big one. This is the start of the bigger one, and they can't shift that mindset moving forward. Each new high, it's like, nope, that's it. And
you gotta
traders out there like, this is the top. Here we go.
And you got to realize a lot of people are waiting for the pullback to get in.
Yep.
So
exactly.
You have to look at the other side of it. A lot of people are waiting. They're like, I'm not going to buy till the pullback. And then you see a pullback. You're like, I got to get out. And then they're buying, and then it goes back up.
This is the pullback I was looking for. And so you have the two conflicting points of view. Yeah. I get it. I get it.
I don't know. I think like being able to recognize that you should just lose comes a lot with actually paper trading first and knowing how much money you can make when you do win.
Yep.
Like
Do you
as
feel
long
that
as
way,
you know,
though?
hey, I can make.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Like as long as you're taking a loss that you know you can recover from, like there should be no problem with losing. But
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people even go into their trade knowing that they can recover from that loss.
I completely agree.
I think that
I think a lot of people don't see a strategy work out long term. They don't test it on paper. They don't see, oh, it's okay if I lose a lot as long as I have the strategy that wins over time. And people don't actually see that. They just don't want to lose. And being able to lose is one of the hardest things you will learn to be profitable. And it sounds counterintuitive, but you really have to know how to lose.
It starts to feel good after a while.
Yeah. So what do you feel
definitely
like about
does.
the people that
Yeah.
like? So they're taking these short week expirations. They're taking next week expirations. I mean, I know, Harrison, you're strictly a futures trader nowadays, but when you see them take these short term expirations, like, because this is what it takes to build up this challenge, and then you can switch over to those things. But and then they hear you say those types of things of, sometimes you just have to let it play out a little bit. And you see that the mantra that of Twitter, FinTwit, and everything else like that is you just have to let it play out. It's like, I think you have to tell these people that taking 5 contracts of that out the money position may be just okay to pull back on and add a few weeks of expiration onto that,
And then let it play out.
and let it play out. But I know how that can be seen from everybody else as well, and be like, well, I did do that and it just went completely against me. So how do I go against that? And so I personally feel like I need to tackle that question of, yeah, I added time. Yeah, I added a month. Yeah, I added 2 months, and it still didn't play out. Like, what do you tell those people?
I mean, you just took a bad trade. You probably you probably just took a bad trade.
Is it macro related? Is it?
You're not going to win every trade. First off, obviously, if you're winning every trade, then you're either a fucking genius or you have terrible downside potential that you wait so long to go up, and one day you're just going to blow up your account. Like if I see someone and they have an insane win rate, they either had a span of lucky streak where that happens. Right. They're just the genius, or they're gonna blow up their account soon. which seems like, oh, I have like a 90% win rate. How am I gonna blow up my account? It's because you never take a loss.
Yeah, we've seen this through.
And if it goes the other way, you're fucked.
I mean, we're not name dropping, but we've seen this through a ton of people that just magically start challenges and they're up 50%, or they magically end challenges and like, oh look, I just made $17,000 and we're gonna end this here. Like we've seen that, and I think transparency is the biggest thing that you can have from these challenges. And like what actually helps people understand is like when they enter, when they exit, proof of exit. And let's make sure that if no one is actually providing a proof of a trade and they're saying, yeah, I just ended my futures trade and I made half my account on this, like you should be skeptical. Like why is it so hard for you to be so proud of adding on 30% of your account, regardless if it's $3, regardless if it's fucking $500 or whatever it is? You shouldn't be, percentages are the only thing that matter, and that's what you should be proud of. Like who the fuck cares about that thing? And I think that's the thing that everybody needs to take home from, is that when you hear this and you see this, you need to be skeptical of everything. That if no one's willing to provide you and no one's proud of these fucking trades, you gotta take a step back and say, fuck this dude, man. This dude's trying to fucking scam somebody,
And I'll go into the what we were going to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a quick couple. I'll just go through a couple off the top of my head where a few things you would look for with people doing account challenges to see like different tricky ways they can do it. The first would obviously be, everyone knows, paper trading, just a fake paper trading account, which you can check the chains. You can go on something as simple as TD Ameritrade, look at the contracts, see if it was possible to buy that many at that level, see where the volume is. If the volume wasn't there, then it's probably fake. Another simple one is the cropping trades where they post like a tiny screenshot of just like a gain. Like you could just Photoshop that. Who cares? Something that gets a little trickier would be something like hedging, where they're playing both sides with big money, and then they only post the winner, and they don't really announce the trade before. They just post, look how much I made here. Where they're basically just flat, but they posted a big winner because they had both sides of the trade.
Right. And they'll tell you they made $200 off it, but they won't show the account size. They won't show you anything.
Another tricky one would be they do spreads, but each leg is on different accounts. So they have like a spread that has a max. They have like a max risk, but one side of the hedge looks like it has an unlimited win. So they can just basically they can't lose more than a couple $100. But if it goes one way, they'll make thousands. But they can't really make more than a couple hundred either. So it's like there's a limited gain and loss, but it looks like it because of one leg. You know what I mean? On two accounts where there's just
I definitely know. Yes.
The next one would be like the freebie trade where you come out of nowhere with like, I started this account challenge. I'm already up this much money. It just gives you buffer zone. They basically just try until they win and then post it.
Oh yeah. Yes.
Now, if you want to get super furu, I don't know if anyone does this, but if you want to start like a fake service, you can use this. So you make like four.
Hang on.
I'm just saying, you make like listen.
Wait a
Let me
minute.
get my pen.
You make like 4 accounts, and you have 2 of them go long and 2 go short.
Yeah.
And then whichever one of them is going to win, and then you take the winner, and then out of the 2 winners, one of them goes long, one goes short. And then you post it, and you have an account that has many trades in it, and you can say, look, I have proof of the last 4 trades. I got this account here. Meanwhile, everything was hedged flat with the other 3 accounts.
I mean, yes.
I mean, yeah, that's just something people do.
So I that's what I was hoping to combat with the whole like account challenge, is showing proof and everything. But you've kind of just like just derailed everything and made me feel like I can't provide enough proof.
Technically, you can never really provide enough proof. The only reason why I thought
That's why when people ask for me, I give them my account number and my password so they can check for themselves.
No, that's perfect.
There's also
let everybody know that.
If you add money to your account, it will show as a gain on some brokers.
And Robinhood. Robinhood is the main thing. The random spike.
They fixed that.
I haven't noticed that actually.
No, they definitely fixed it because it goes back in months ago. If you add or withdraw,
so
if you add or withdraw funds from it, it adjusts your like initial investment number.
Okay, good.
All right, but you have to hit.
So like if I click all time on my account, it says that I'm negative. I'm negative like 4,000 some, but that's because every time I get over $1,000, I withdraw money out of it.
See, but that's what I'm saying though. People don't do that, and people know that trick, and so what they do is they wait midday and they show like they're in a position, and then all of a sudden they're like they wait for the huge spike and whatever, like Roku. All right, everyone's fucking going.
I don't think the chart does that anymore, but I mean it might, but I don't know. I don't add money during the day.
If I had the time to do it right now, I would prove you wrong. I've known for a fact it does this through multiple things where like you just, and I've seen some bullshit ass traders out there.
I know what you're talking about. I know that it used to do. I just didn't think it did anymore. But I don't add money in the middle of the day. So.
But that's the key that they have though. It's like, so they'll be like, oh, look, I hit this runner. I made $500 off this, and all of a sudden it's like Roku. I nailed the top of this. Here we go. And she's like, that's just not how it.
Roku, by the way, is ridiculous.
A quick side comment that Bear said. He doesn't add money during the day. If you're adding trading money to your account during the day, it's probably not a good idea.
That's a horrible idea.
It means you're probably revenge trading like crazy. It's like, motherfucker, I'm making this shit back.
Don't try to call me out here. That is not what I was doing.
Listen, I learned that mistake early on.
Wait overnight, get it the next couple days. Never wire money over the same day.
Always
That's just
the shit out of everything. I got you. I hear what you're saying now.
No,
Tip
what
number
happened
one from
was-
Harrison.
What happened was Tim saw a really good trade, but didn't have enough buying power, so he transferred more in,
Boom.
so that he could also take that one, which also went bad against him.
Screw you guys. Which is also true. Let's be real here.
But-
right? We've all been in that position.
but
Like, I have to
before
take
he-
this trade.
But before he took that second trade, he took a screenshot of that spike on his Robinhood account after depositing his $53.
I would be. You would be foolish to think that no one has thought of that. I think. Personally, I think that
Oh,
you'd be
I
foolish
know
to think that
people
no one's
have
like,
thought of that.
oh, I can just look. I hit a $2,000 runner and just like boom, withdraw it. I'm
Tim, you
taking
just had
profits.
3 guys that freaking scammed Robinhood. Well, not really scammed, because Robinhood are the ones that are wrong, into, getting their accounts to be able to have millions of dollars.
Yeah, millions of dollars. So fair enough. And that's
So,
another reason why,
yeah.
if you see a guru using Robinhood,
Here's my
as
thing.
his
If
main
you're
trading
part-
broker,
Look, if you're gonna be part of a service, and whoever's running that service is using Robinhood as their main broker, you probably shouldn't. You
Yes.
probably shouldn't pay for that service.
What was the one thing that Harrison was saying? He's like, so he's been going on for about like a solid year. Provide tax returns, right? What would be the
What?
ultimate proof, right?
Look, if Trump
Yeah,
won't do it,
show
I'm
some
not
tax
doing it.
returns.
Thank you. If Trump
I think
doesn't do it-
services, man, show your tax returns. Show those gains that you can't fake. Although you could probably still fake it, but if you get caught faking a tax return, you probably not the best idea.
So that would be perfect. I think that's the ultimate thing to combat online services. And like we know the people out there, we'll save that for later shows. In terms of who you should trust, who you should go with, and everything else like that. But we know the people that are just magically tweeting every single day, every single second, but yet have hit every single runner, has hit every single prime option contract and striked and everything else like that. You just gotta wonder. And I think if you're like thinking like, man, I need to be like that guy, I think you're kind of a lost cause at this point, and you deserve to lose all the money in your account because nobody can help you. Like we've been down that road before. If you signed up for a service, we've all started at that point, and maybe you're at that point too. But when you got people telling you to look out for these things and you're choosing to ignore them, and you're saying, but this guy is showing me screenshots from his mobile Robinhood account. It's just like, come on, man. Let's be real here for a second.
There's also a weird psychological side where I think people want to believe that because I think they just want to hope that it's possible for them,
Yeah,
and they
like-
get drawn into.
like the
They
Powerball.
want to. Yeah,
Like,
they're just
he
like,
can
oh,
do
it's
it, I can
possible,
do
bro.
it.
Yeah, it's possible. I could do this. Like, no, and then that keeps them happy. So they're almost paying to be happy when they know deep down it's not gonna work. It's fake.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get closing argument or closing statements. How about that? In terms of just the whole thing was the account challenge, and because that's what I'm gonna be starting currently. Anybody's free to join this. You can use the hashtag 100 account challenge to add your story to it, to continue it, to join along whatever I'm doing. If I blow this up, it's okay. Whatever. It happens. I will say this will be the first. I've always been super great about all this because the public eye is on me, and I usually play super smart, super safe. But I'm looking for that first time.
I'm gonna do the 100 account challenge, but I'm gonna blow it up the first trade or beat you.
All right. Well, I accept that.
Wait, I didn't know Kevin was in here.
Yeah. Everything on 16 black is supposed to be the whole
Look,
thing.
there's actual science behind how many times 16 black will hit. Okay.
It sounds reasonable.
Does it though?
When he talks about it, it does.
So I think for anybody that finished this whole podcast, if you can give them any advice to handle these small account challenges, whether it be an actual challenge for them or just be real money that they're on their last leg, whatever it may be, let me hear your best words of advice for them, whether it be one sentence, a paragraph, or whatever. Bear, let me hear what you have to say for them.
All right, first of all, what you just said, if they're on their last money, they probably shouldn't be doing a $50 account challenge.
Fair enough.
So
You know what
let
I
me
mean?
just, no, I'm just saying, let me reiterate that.
It's true, though.
I don't think
We've been down
anybody
that
in
road.
or anybody that's ever going to be brought on here to talk, you shouldn't be using money that you rely to live on unless you're at Ham's level where you're trading for a living. Like, I have a job that supports my family, and this is all money on the side. If I woke up tomorrow and all my accounts were at zero, it would in no way negatively impact my family.
Okay.
So let me just start by saying that. But if you are going to go in and do this challenge, and you do decide to put some money in it, I think that you need to keep you need to keep a log of what you're doing. You need to write down the trades that you're doing, review them. You need to use this as a learning experience because that's really what it is. That's why I come back and do them every so often, because it re-solidifies the reasons that I trade and the ways that I trade. And when I start slipping away from that, going into an account challenge can help you build that discipline again. So if you're going to do it, be disciplined about it, and take the right steps. Otherwise, you're just gambling.
Think longer term is what you're like. Basically, you're building up to a real account, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
I mean that's the goal of it. This might become your real account. Like, who knows? It's just you need to treat it with respect, and you need to be serious about it. If you're not going to, then you're just gambling, and we don't really want to be a part of your stupid gamble anyway, unless you're doing it like Ham just to beat.
That's very true. Jay, let me hear what you have to say. Just final thoughts about what you would think would help people out.
As far as the account challenge, everyone stated, hey, just use money that you can afford to lose, but take it as serious as possible, because you kind of want to put that pressure on yourself as if, like, maybe that is your last bit of money and you're a good trader and you can trade yourself out of it. See what you can do from that point. What you can do from $50 to maybe change your life.
That's what I like to do. There we go. And Harrison, final thoughts, words of wisdom for anybody who's trying to do this challenge.
So I just want to go back to, I think the common utensil at the kitchen should be a butane torch. I kind of want to get that out there. Not many people are talking about that. I just think, how cool would it be if there was a butane torch to make your food crispy and hot whenever. I kind of see the problem with the fire hazard. So every butane comes with, everyone gets a fire extinguisher at dinner. So that's cool too. Anyways, yeah.
So now I have kids, a wife, a fire extinguisher, and a butane torch at dinner.
This is America, first off.
What could go wrong?
It's perfect.
And just buy the dip.
I'll put them right beside my guns that are on the table.
Epstein didn't kill himself.
I just really think there should be butane torches. Like, at least, maybe you sign a waiver. I just think it would be really cool.
All right. Good answers across the board. All right. And I just want to thank everybody for, I think it's another perfect way to end this. Just great content right there at the end. We'll be back next week. We'll find a good topic for that every trader can relate to. Just something that just sticks with them, something that can help them out, but also something that's a little bit more entertaining as well. So we'll see you guys next week. We'll be out. This is the last margin call. We'll see you next week.